There are three main objectives that were aimed in the case study. The first one is to investigate the severity of suicide among students in Malaysia. The second one is to study the factors of depression among students. And the third one is to propose counter and preventive measures that will mitigate the number of suicide victims among students.
Depression is one of the 4 primary diseases in the world. Although it is a mental health problem, depression could also lead to other physical diseases as well, such as increase the risk of heart attack, weakened immune system, fatigue, constricted blood vessel, and lower interest in sex. College students must balance a lot of responsibilities from college to home, which could lead to a high level of psychological stress. Based on the recent review, depression is most common among college students compared to other groups of citizens. Malaysian students reported having moderate depression at a rate of 25.7% and severe depression at a rate of 9.7%. So we hope by doing this research, we can educate and raise awareness regarding the severity of depression among college students.
There's actually a few facts, statistics that I found on the article review, but I'm just gonna pinpoint a few. One of it is 1 in 3 people describe themselves as anxious and tense, as well as 1 in 5 people describe themselves as tired for no apparent reason. This is actually a few symptoms of the depression. Besides, Martinez and Fabian in 1992 said that 16% of people actually believe that life is no longer worth to live. For some people, this might seem like a small number, but I believe that we must do something in order to reduce this number more. After doing a few article review, I realized that there are 5 factors that led to depression, which is family issue, new environment, friend, financial issue, and academic related. O'Hara in 2010 stated that university students are actually a unique group of people that are going through from adolescence to adulthood, which is one of the most stressful time of their life. They need to adjust to a totally new environment as well as friends with a different social background. In addition, they need to fulfill their academic achievement as well as social requirement in order to prepare for the future.
Depression can give many impacts on student life. Firstly, depression can result in feelings of isolation, low self-esteem, eating disorders, and suicidal thoughts, as cited from writing by Imelda Kumarasamy. Depression could also lead to other physical problems such as diabetes, cancer, heart disease, and Parkinson's disease. Besides, students may engage in high-risk behavior such as smoking, drinking, drug use, and self-harm due to these emotional and mental stresses. Another citation also stated that depression usually connected to suicidal thoughts, acute infectious disease, and ultimately suicide. Finally, Deborah Rose Wilson stated that students with depression may be difficult to concentrate and make decisions. They might also lose their appetite that could lead to eating problems.
Next, I will talk about stigma of depression. Believe it or not, we have been believing in stigma our whole life before. Especially in Asia household, some of us have not been taught about depression that much. Especially mental health has been portrayed in negative light, which cause people to develop a fear towards people with mental health disorder and devaluing them. This leads to discrimination, causing them to feel helplessness and worthlessness. This also has become a barrier for them to ask for help to other people.
It is important to know how to manage depression. So firstly, universities should establish courses on stress and time management, etiquette training and communication skills. Universities should also pay more attention to students from second year, leaves of campus, who came from lower socio-economic background and deal with PTSD. Besides, students should interact with their family members and friends more often. Having nice peers would help students to endure their emotional stress. Besides, students are advised to organize their time properly. Kopira added that students can set up a modest timetable. She added that students can exercise to deal with depression. It is more effective when they spend time in nature. So students are advised to taking walk outdoors.
My name is Abdullah Almari, and in this video I'll briefly talk about the methods we use in our research regarding the issue of depression among college students. There are two methods used in our research in order to achieve the objective of this research. The first method is literature review, and the second method is survey. Literature review is a qualitative analysis where 7 journals and articles were chosen and analyzed. The objective of literature review is to understand the definition of depression from several points of view, to study the seriousness of depression among college students, factors that contribute to depression, and also to propose ways that would mitigate depression issues among college students. Furthermore, it also aims to investigate and analyze studies that were done in the past few years. The second method is survey. Survey was conducted via Google form with the theme of depression among college students. Our survey consisted of 3 sections. Section A, it consisted of backgrounds of our participants such as age, gender, institute, and also their course of study. Section B, our participants were introduced to 22 multiple choice questions in order to investigate their awareness of the issue. And in question C, our participants were asked 5 mini questions to share their own experience when dealing with depression. Our survey has been sent to several universities here in Malaysia. Among those universities is University Technology Petronas, UTP, University Technology Mara, UITM, University Malaysia Sabah, UMS, University Kebangsaan Malaysia, UKM, Mahasa University, University Putra Malaysia, UPM, University Malaysia Bahan, UMP, Management Science University, MSU, and College Matrikulasi Labuan, KML. And the data collected is obtained from a total of 50 responses.
Do you think depression is a serious matter among college students? 100% of 50 respondents voted yes for this question. This indicates the severity level of depression among college students is alarming. A voting poll was included in the survey to study the biggest factor that leads to depression. Most of the respondents believe that having toxic people is the biggest factor that leads to depression, as it received 40 votes from the respondents. The second most voted factor is too much commitment with 36 votes. Having bad grades and financial problem shared the third place, which both received 30 votes. And the last one with 24 votes is mismanagement of time. In conclusion, students should be more careful and wise in choosing their circle of friends. This is because, based on the survey, surrounded by toxic people have possibility to put a student in a very depressed state. Students are also advised to put more attention on managing their commitments. This is to avoid being a victim of depression. From these two survey questions, one can conclude that having a good circle of friends and engaging in physical activities like sports and work can reduce the stress and also reduces the risk of being a victim of depression. "74% of 50 respondents are willing to receive mental health aid. In addition, more than half of the respondents are comfortable sharing their problem to others." And on the next survey question, the result is very interesting, especially for the counselor out there. Only 2% of the respondents willing to share their problem with the counselor, as they felt more comfortable and secure to share their problems with friends and family.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Faiz Fauzi. I'm from Group 13 under Ustazah Mashita. Today I will explain the conclusion of my group's case study. It is concluded from our case study that all college students experience stress to an extent, and the most prominent factor for that stress is due to their studies, and this is due to maintain a good result. All students must maintain a good result in order to secure a high-paying job. And also, when students get good CGPA, it will really impress their employers, as the employers will look at their CGPA to reflect on how they take their studies. If students take their studies seriously, and also from our case study, it's also found that friends are a vital part of our college life. This is due to friends being able to influence us in whatever we do. If we have a good circle of friends, it will help us better in enduring our college life. This is because when in times of need, we can lean on them to help us. Also, for the next part, I will be explaining about the suggestions to our case study. So for the first suggestion is to distribute the questionnaire to a larger number of audience. This is due to make the case study relevant. A minimum number of audience is needed, but the questionnaire has a lot of questions, so not a lot of people will be willing to fill it. That's why by giving it to a larger number of audience, the probability of it being filled is higher. And for the last part is the limitation. The limitations that we face is that it took a long time to gather the target number of audience. It took us about 3 to 4 weeks to finally reach the minimum number of audience for our questionnaire. This is due to it having a lot of questions and not a lot of people were filling it up initially. Only after a certain amount of time it was finally finished and we could conduct our study. And also the last limitation that we face is to propose a solution at a student's level of authority. This is because the student doesn't have a lot of power to make a change. It is not, we are only students, not the government, not the police, so we cannot change the law or make something that is really significant. So all our solutions had to be able to be done by students only, and not have level of higher jurisdiction. So that's all from me. Thank you.